Are you feeling overwhelmed by the clutter in your life? Like every time you try to take control, the things you own weigh you down even more. If you're a senior looking to downsize, or just struggling to get rid of years of accumulated stuff, the task might feel insurmountable. But you're not alone. We all go through phases where we feel trapped by the very things we thought would bring comfort. Today, we're going to dive deep into the harsh truths about decluttering for seniors that no one talks about, but you absolutely need to hear if you want to regain control and find peace. You might have heard the saying, if you want to change your life, change your environment. And while that's true, it's not always that simple, especially when the clutter has piled up over decades, when every item has memories attached, or when the task feels overwhelming. But don't worry, we're not here to tell you to just throw everything out. Instead, we'll tackle this challenge step by step, taking a realistic approach to reclaim your space, your peace of mind, and ultimately, your life. The reality is, decluttering isn't just about tossing things away, it's about acknowledging how much those things have impacted your life, letting go of the past, and freeing yourself for the future. Decluttering as a senior often involves confronting deep emotions and making hard decisions. But the good news is that, with the right mindset and tools, you can do this, and you'll feel empowered every step of the way. What you'll learn in this script are 5 harsh truths about decluttering that could change everything. First, we'll explore why it's harder than it seems. Next, we'll talk about the emotional weight that comes with letting go. Then, we'll tackle the real financial cost of holding on to too much. We'll also discuss the strain it puts on your relationships and how to approach it in a way that feels manageable. And lastly, we'll dive into the undeniable truth that decluttering, while necessary, isn't a one-time project but a journey of ongoing renewal. Before we go any further, take a moment and imagine what it would feel like to walk into your home tomorrow and not be overwhelmed by clutter. Picture the relief, the clarity, the freedom. That's possible for you, and this script will help you get there. Now, let's begin. We all know that clutter accumulates. It starts with a few things that don't have a place, and before you know it, every surface is covered, every closet is full, and every drawer is stuffed with things you don't even remember acquiring. For many seniors, decluttering isn't just about physical space, it's about confronting emotional ties to the past. Dealing with the overwhelming task of sorting through a lifetime of possessions, and navigating the mental fog that often comes with aging. The first thing you need to understand is that decluttering is hard. It's not just about organizing, it's about emotionally detaching from things that once held meaning to you. Maybe you've got family heirlooms, photographs, or keepsakes from your children's childhoods. These items are steeped in memories, making it nearly impossible to part with them. You may think, if I get rid of this, I'm losing a piece of my past. But here's the truth. Holding on to these things isn't preserving memories. It's weighing you down. Ignoring the clutter doesn't make it disappear, it compounds. Over time, the mess will grow, and so will the emotional burden of it. The longer you put it off, the harder it becomes to make a decision. And eventually, you might find yourself unable to enjoy the things that once brought you comfort, because they're buried beneath piles of unnecessary stuff. Now, let's take a step back and consider this. If you don't deal with the clutter, what's the long-term impact? Imagine the frustration of constantly feeling like you're surrounded by things that don't serve you. Clutter can lead to increased stress, anxiety, and even physical discomfort. It can make it harder to find what you need, which leads to frustration. And let's not forget the financial cost. Clutter can also mask what you truly need, leaving you with purchases you don't actually use, draining your resources. More than that, if you leave clutter unchecked, it can damage relationships. The stress of dealing with the mess might spill over into your interactions with family members. Maybe your children or grandchildren want to help, but they don't know where to start. Or worse, they're overwhelmed by the task too. You might find that your clutter is creating tension where there should be connection. It's important to face this head-on, not just for you, but for the people who care about you. But here's the most powerful thing to realize. You are not alone. I know it feels like a daunting, isolated task, but there are people out there who have faced the same struggles. Seniors just like you have found a way through this. And you can too. The road to a clutter-free home is not an overnight journey. It takes time, effort, and patience. But it's absolutely worth it. Let's shift gears and start talking about the solutions. The key to overcoming this clutter challenge is mindset. You've got to get out of the "I can't" mentality and embrace a "I can" and "I will" mindset. It starts by understanding that you don't have to do it all at once. You don't have to declutter every room in your house in one weekend. Take it one step at a time. And every little victory counts. So, where do you begin? Start by setting small, achievable goals. For example, commit to clearing out one drawer or one shelf each day. Set a timer for 20 minutes and focus only on that small space. You'll be surprised at how much you can accomplish in that short amount of time. And remember, this is about progress, not perfection. Every time you make a decision to let go of something, you're freeing yourself, both physically and emotionally. Another important part of this process is recognizing that it's okay to let go of things. It's not a betrayal of your memories or your past. It's a way of honoring the life you've lived by giving yourself space to live in the present. If you're struggling, ask yourself, does this item bring me joy or serve a purpose today? If not, it's time to let it go. You'll likely find that many of the things you've been holding on to are no longer relevant to your current life. Sometimes, you'll face guilt when getting rid of things. That's normal. But think about it this way. The items you keep are the ones that truly reflect who you are today, not who you were years ago. As you start clearing out the physical clutter, you'll notice the mental clutter starts to clear up too. Your mind will feel lighter, your stress will decrease, and you'll be left with only the things that truly matter. One of the biggest obstacles you'll face is fear. Fear of making the wrong decision. Fear of not knowing where to start. But here's the truth. The fear of clutter will always be greater than the fear of letting go. It may seem overwhelming at first, but once you start making decisions, it will become easier. And the more you declutter, the more confident you'll feel in your ability to take control. Let's look at some real-life examples. Consider a woman in her 70s named Margaret. She had lived in the same house for 40 years and had accumulated decades of belongings, some sentimental, some just stuff. At first, Margaret felt completely overwhelmed by the idea of decluttering. But once she started with just one room, her bedroom, where she spent most of her time, it was easier than she expected. She gave herself permission to get rid of old clothes, mismatched linens, and furniture that didn't serve her anymore. As she saw the progress, she felt empowered to tackle other areas. Today, Margaret lives in a space that feels more comfortable and peaceful, and she's able to enjoy her home again, without the weight of years of clutter. Margaret's story isn't unique. Seniors everywhere are finding joy in the process of decluttering. But it's not always easy. There will be times when you feel like giving up, when you question if it's worth it. But trust me, it is. Decluttering is more than just about clearing physical space. It's about making room for a new chapter of your life. Now that we've covered how to start and overcome the initial challenges, let's talk about maintaining momentum. Decluttering isn't a one-time event, it's a habit. To stay on track, it's important to continue the process of small daily wins. Celebrate each item you decide to part with. Take a moment to appreciate the space you've created. Over time, decluttering will become less of a task and more of a lifestyle. As you continue decluttering, it's absolutely crucial to be kind to yourself throughout the process. We all have those days where we feel like we're not making enough progress, where the piles still seem overwhelming, and we wonder if all the effort is worth it. In moments like this, it's easy to get discouraged, to feel like we're failing, and to want to give up. But here's the truth: you are not failing. Clutter didn't accumulate overnight, and it won't disappear in a day either. Progress in decluttering is not always linear, and that's okay. Some days, you'll clear out several bags of things and feel amazing. Other days, you might only manage to part with one or two items, and that's still progress. Every little step you take, no matter how small, is a step closer to the goal of a more organized, peaceful life. In fact, it's the small steps that matter the most. You don't need to tackle everything at once. Trying to declutter your entire house in one go can lead to burnout and frustration. Instead, break down the task into manageable pieces. Whether it's tackling a single drawer, a shelf, or even a small section of your closet, every single area you organize makes a difference. These smaller, more achievable goals help you maintain motivation and prevent feelings of overwhelm. Being kind to yourself means understanding that decluttering is a process, not a race. There are no right or wrong ways to do it, and there's no deadline. You are on your own timeline, and that's perfectly okay. You don't need to keep up with anyone else's pace. And on the days when progress feels slow, remind yourself that you are doing the work and that effort is what truly counts. Instead of focusing on what's left to do or how much more there is to tackle, celebrate what you've accomplished, no matter how small. You cleared out that drawer. You sorted through a box. You made space. That's all worthy of recognition. Self-compassion is about acknowledging your effort, even on the tough days when you might feel like you haven't done enough. Another important aspect of being kind to yourself is allowing space for setbacks. Maybe you hit a tough emotional moment, or perhaps you didn't get as much done as you'd hoped. This is perfectly normal. Decluttering is as much about emotions as it is about physical items. Letting go of things tied to memories can stir up sadness, guilt, or even anxiety. If that happens, don't push yourself too hard to continue right away. Take a break. Give yourself time to process, and come back to it when you're ready. You don't need to force progress. It will come naturally when you are in the right frame of mind. Consistency is key. Rather than trying to declutter in one massive push, build small, daily habits into your routine. You might set aside 15 to 20 minutes a day to declutter a single area. This might feel like a small amount of time, but over weeks or months, those small efforts will compound into huge results. Consistency isn't about perfection. It's about showing up every day, even if only for a short time. When you make decluttering a consistent part of your daily routine, it transforms from a massive, overwhelming project into a manageable task that fits seamlessly into your life. Initially, decluttering may feel like something that requires all your energy and attention, as if it's just another item on an endless to-do list. But once you start incorporating it into your daily habits, it becomes less daunting and more routine. You won't be overwhelmed by the enormity of the task anymore because you'll be chipping away at it slowly but steadily, which is exactly what makes the process so manageable. Consistency is the secret to this transformation. Rather than setting yourself up for failure with unrealistic expectations of decluttering an entire room in one afternoon, you'll make small, sustainable changes. A 15-minute session every day, or even every other day, is all it takes. You'll find that when you commit to this habit, the task itself no longer feels like something you need to dread or avoid. The beauty of small, consistent efforts is that over time, the clutter begins to noticeably diminish. At first, you might not see dramatic changes, and it's easy to feel like you're not making enough progress. But as you continue to declutter a little bit each day, the results start to snowball. One day you'll look around and realize how much lighter and more organized your space has become. The shift isn't just physical, it's emotional too. When you consistently declutter, your environment begins to reflect the intentionality you're applying to your life. No longer will you have to wade through piles of stuff to find what you need. Your spaces will be easier to navigate, and the mental load of "where did I put that?" will gradually disappear. Instead of feeling overwhelmed by the mess, you'll start to feel a sense of pride in your living space. The daily wins may seem small in the moment, but collectively, they add up to a home that functions more smoothly and brings you peace. This sense of accomplishment is powerful. Every small victory, from sorting through a drawer to clearing a countertop, builds on itself, creating momentum. As you see the areas of your home start to take shape, you'll experience the reward of your hard work. The clutter is no longer a source of stress, and you'll begin to see your environment as something that supports you rather than holds you back. You've created a home that you can enjoy rather than just manage, and that's incredibly empowering. It's in this newfound sense of control over your space that the magic happens. You'll realize that you hold the power to transform your environment, and that control becomes a deeply empowering feeling. Our living spaces are more than just places we reside. They reflect our state of mind. When your space is cluttered, it often mirrors a chaotic, disorganized mental state. By consistently decluttering, you actively shift your mindset. You're not just organizing your physical surroundings, you're decluttering your mind. This control over your environment can have a ripple effect in other areas of your life. Once you gain the confidence to tackle the clutter in your home, you might find that you begin to apply the same mindset to other aspects of your life. You might take on projects at work or handle personal goals with the same small, consistent effort that brought success in your decluttering journey. The practice of consistency helps reinforce your belief that you have the power to make change, and that belief becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Most importantly, as you practice this new habit, you stop seeing decluttering as a chore and start seeing it as a tool for creating a life that feels more intentional and fulfilling. It's not about perfection, it's about creating a space that aligns with who you are and how you want to feel in your daily life. And with consistency, the task becomes less about a burden and more about the freedom of a clean, organized space that helps you thrive. So, as you continue to practice daily decluttering, remember that every small step you take, no matter how insignificant it may feel in the moment, leads to a larger transformation. These small wins will accumulate, and eventually, your space will reflect the peace and order you've cultivated through your consistent effort. What once seemed like a never-ending task will become part of your regular routine, and you'll have the satisfaction of knowing that you are in control of your environment, free to move forward with clarity, confidence, and a sense of empowerment. Creating a sustainable plan is crucial for this journey. A plan that's too ambitious might lead to burnout, while one that's too lax might leave you stuck in a cycle of never-ending clutter. The key is to find a balance, something that fits your life and your energy levels. Perhaps one day you commit to tackling a single drawer, and another day you spend a little longer organizing an entire bookshelf. Listen to your energy and mood, and let that guide your pace. Think of it like a workout routine for your home. Some days are intense, others are light, but all of them contribute to your long-term health. Your plan doesn't need to be rigid. Life happens, and sometimes you won't be able to stick to your ideal schedule. That's okay. The goal isn't to be perfect. It's to be consistent, making steady progress that fits into your life without adding more stress. If you want to make it even easier, use simple tools to track your progress. This could be a checklist, a calendar, or a decluttering app. These tools don't just help you stay organized, they provide a visual record of what you've accomplished. And when you feel like you're not moving fast enough, a quick glance at what you've already cleared can remind you of how much you've achieved. Ultimately, being kind to yourself during the decluttering process means giving yourself permission to be imperfect, to move at your own pace, and to celebrate the small wins. This is not a competition, it's a journey. The key to sustaining your decluttering efforts is to be patient with yourself and recognize that you're doing the best you can, and that's enough. You deserve a living space that feels like a sanctuary, not a source of stress. So, embrace the process, trust yourself, and know that every time you take action, even if it's just one item, you're one step closer to a more peaceful, organized home. You've got this, and you are more than capable of seeing it through. And remember, decluttering is an ongoing process. Once you've let go of the excess, you'll find that maintaining that space is much easier. You'll develop new habits like asking yourself if you really need something before purchasing it. You'll learn to appreciate what you already have and feel more connected to the things that matter most. The bottom line is this: you are in control. You have the power to change your space and your life. It's not always going to be easy, but it will be worth it. Don't let the fear of the process hold you back. Start with small steps and celebrate your victories. You are capable, and the more you declutter, the closer you'll get to the peaceful, organized life you deserve. Now, I challenge you to take action. Choose one small step today, whether it's clearing a drawer, organizing a shelf, or even just identifying one item you're ready to let go of. The journey won't be perfect, but it will be yours. And it starts now. You've got this.